president and Toastmaster of the day, and fellow Toastmasters, and our guest. I think this is going to be another great meeting, and we'll start off with my speech. Is President Trump insensitive to people? The word of the day is insensitive, and we have gave the definition of being insensitive, not being interested or supportive of other folks, insensitive. I wonder, will the President of the United States be sensitive or insensitive to the United States public? And this is very important. The President and his administration will either succeed or fail. If they are sensitive, they're going to succeed. If they are insensitive, they're going to fail. Now, before I proceed with my presentation, and it will be mainly political, I wanted to say that in the beginning. Let's go back a little bit about President Trump, and even before he became a president. He told us and the United States public exactly what he was going to do. And some of the things were repeal the Obamacare, and you can probably remember what he said about these things. Build a wall around the Mexican border. Okay, two of the big pipelines that people have been against, one with the Indian situation and other from Canada. He would restrict Muslims in the U.S. or not let them in. He said something about that. He will be restricting immigrants who are in the United States, and if they don't conform, he will send them back to their home country. He said that. He said he would elect a Supreme Court judge who was very conservative and in the mode of Scalia. And some of you know about Scalia, one of the most conservative judges in the whole United States Congress. And he was following the Constitution all the way, no living Constitution, just the way it was before. And he says that he would appoint committee heads that were of his persuasion. And he did that. So some of people are up in arms about, hey, you are not really doing what we would like for you to do. But he told you what he was going to do, and he is proceeding to do those very things. So the people who put him in are saying rah, rah, rah to all the things he's doing. And to some others who are disappointed, I say, well, we don't know how insensitive this president might be. So that is a question. If he becomes sensitive, he might succeed. Because he is a revolutionary president. No one has been a president like Trump. But if he is insensitive, he might not succeed. So let's see what's going to happen. Now, some of you have already heard his cabinet members being discussed in the General Assembly. Is that right? Some of you on TV have heard some of the people, and the leaders in Congress has asked them questions. And it is surprising to me that when they have asked them questions about sensitive issues, they have actually come across very positive. They said, yeah, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that, and we're going to listen to the people, and we're going to do things for the people. And I said to myself, you know, that's a good start. That's a good start when it comes to asking them those questions. What are they going to do and what are they not going to do? So let's divert a little bit about Trump himself. Trump is perhaps not a sensitive person because he does not have to be sensitive. He is a millionaire with all kinds of businesses all over the world, and he has never had food stamps. He's never had to get in the line for anything. Everything he has touched has turned to gold, and even when he has failed in his businesses, he just shrugs it off and makes it look like, oh, I just go to another business. And he has done that. And when people voted for him, they said, wow, this guy is very successful. And he can make things happen. He can turn things around. Let's vote for him. Because Trump has told them, I will bring jobs to you. And I'll also make sure that the religious feelings that you have are understood. Even though Trump, I'm sure, has not been going to church at all, but what he has been doing, he has usurped the problems that people have wanted him to do, and now he's doing that. And if you've seen in the last few days, he has been around his group of people, and everything is fine. The question is, when they really start acting upon the things that will be good for the country, how is he going to act? And how will his department heads act? And this is going to be very important. So I did ask you this question before, but let me ask you again. How many of you have heard some of the interviews of the department heads? Okay. And you have to notice too that most of them are very positive, except for this lady who has Department of Education, who has not served a minute in the public schools. It's all chartered schools, etc., etc., and he has appointed her as the Department of Education. So she might have a little problem, although in most cases I'm sure all of Trump's people will be okay, because the Republicans really have the majority of voters. And I am actually anxious to find out what's going to go on. But what we have to do, and the people who are demonstrating have to do, is to be ready to demonstrate when the department heads start doing something that is not in the best for the people. And we will not know that until they start doing things. And I'm sure if they do something against what Trump wants, he would do what he did to the Attorney General in the U.S. Because she said, as you can recall, I am not going to support Trump when it comes to these 7 countries that he says are not coming to the U.S. Now, she could have resigned, but I'm sure she had strong feelings about, let me make a statement. So she made a statement in the public, no, she would not support him. And of course, what did he do? He fired her. And we understand that. And I was saying to myself, isn't that something that these other heads are going to be making a lot of policies? And if they don't follow him, he can very easily fire them. And he even might do that. I am hoping that there is some sensitivity to the department heads that make policies for the people and that they consider the average person. And actually that can happen because when people get in positions of power, they actually have to learn the people, how the people will feel about it. And wouldn't it be great if they can get into power and be sensitive to the people who they supposed to oversee? And Donald Trump himself, he has had a silver spoon all his life. And I hope that he says to himself, well, let me get down with the people. And if he gets down to people, he too might learn how to be sensitive. And that would be great. So in conclusion, I hope that he and his department heads, after they start working, they get down and actually understand the people. And that would be great for the country. It's a Toastmaster Day.